Can you imagine what it would be like to be there at Pentecost? Well, to get into the idea of imagining it, maybe you need to think about what had happened recently. Well, recently, maybe over the last few years, where people had been following Jesus around, he'd been teaching and he'd been talking with people and he'd been healing people. It would be a crazy ride. And as you were walking around, you'd be thinking about what was going to happen next. Was this a transformation that would change everything? And towards the end, it was all building up. There was Lazarus dying and being buried and then coming out of the tomb again, coming to life. And then an entry into Jerusalem where people were lining the streets and it was a massive celebration and the authorities were worried that there was going to be a riot. And then, well, there's talking in the temple and then there's a Last Supper and Jesus saying things about having to go away and lots of stuff that maybe didn't make much sense. And then in a garden, praying at night when the troops come, the temple authorities, not just the Romans, but your own people come and arrest Jesus and take him away. And you're kind of worrying and wondering, what should you have done? Should you have made a resistance? Should you have fought? Or like for the guy that lopped off someone's ear with a sword, should he not have done that? Because Jesus kind of healed the ear that went missing. And then Jesus taken up to the hill and crucified and buried. And like the stories of the sky going black and of tombs cracking open and things. And still you're not really sure what's happening. And there's a few days of just not being able to comprehend. And then you hear stories that Jesus has come back from the dead, and stories that he's met with people and walked along the road with them, stories that he's caught fish, and the instruction is to wait. So you wait. 50 days you wait. And it's another religious festival. This one, I've heard it's remembering when Moses brought the law down from the mountain. So it's a foundational festival and defines a culture. But you're not sure whether you're going to stay part of that culture or whether what Jesus has done has started something new. What's that even going to look like? So you wait and you pray. And, 50 days, it all can kind of just blur into one without the normal marking of time and the passage of things. So you wait and you pray. And then as you're praying, there's the sound like the roaring of a wind. And like fire seems to come down and stay on people's heads. And then the door opens and you run out and there's a big crowd there from all over the world. And Peter stands up and he starts to say what has happened from the start to this point in time. And you feel it bubbling up inside you as well. And you start talking. And then everyone's talking. And there are people from all over the world there. And they're all talking different languages. But everyone is seeming to get it. And it's all making sense. Well, what would happen the next day? Well, your group's gone from being just a few people to being hundreds of people. And all of them, all of you, maybe you've got this thing bubbling inside you, wanting to get out. And maybe all of the things that have led up to this point start to actually make more sense. Maybe you're still waiting and you aren't quite sure what it is you're meant to do. Or maybe you're doing stuff that you're not sure of and then thinking about it and then doing more stuff. Well, if you want to find out more, there are books written about it. Acts of the Apostles is a good place to start. But it's not just something that happened 2,000 years ago. If you want to find out what it feels like, then why not try and find somebody who has experienced something like it? Maybe not the whole rushing wind thing, maybe not seeing flames on their heads. Although if you ask around and if you look into it, you'll find there are lots of people with lots of stories that are kind of like that. But what about the people who, who are a bit more solid? The people who have a smile that is more than just a changing of their face muscles. People you trust. Find them. Talk about things like this. Find the words. And there's a whole world out there waiting for you to discover. Test everything you discover. Don't go for this story or that story just because it seems the best or the wildest or the most interesting. But test them, try them, find out what is solid, what is true. And maybe the season of Pentecost can be the start of something new. Enjoy your summer holidays. Enjoy this change in times. Look for the good things that are happening, because there are good things happening. And take care of each other, because kindness and care are two core things which should never be underrated. And if you can manage it, then that's great. And if you can't manage it, ask for help. And I'm sure we will meet again sometime. Bye.